Hi guys. Okay, hi. I don't know if you can see me. This video is going to be about my workshop on Global Witches, and it's kind of going to be over what the classes are and what they are, what I'm going to be teaching. So, I have two workshops. Well, I have two workshops rolled into one. I have the Egyptian side, the Egyptian magic side, and the rune side. And so we're going to be talking about the Egyptian terminology and words in ancient Egypt and hieroglyphics and, you know, different stuff like that. We'll talk about different Egyptian deities. But some stuff that I especially want to highlight in Egyptian magic is the Ka, the Heka, which is a magical term, and there's actually a book called the Heka that I meant to put in the book list. You need that. So I would search it up. It's H-E-K-A. That's it. H-E-K-A. The Heka. What is next? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the symbolism in ancient Egyptian mythology. We're going to talk about the 9 heavenly bodies, which is sort of the Ka reworked. It's sort of a thought of what's the word? Reincarnation. It's actually really cool because I really like this subject. The Ka. Okay, it said the ancient Egyptians believe, and I guess I still believe this to this day, that when you are born, there is a version of you made in the spirit realm. This spirit realm version of you is a guardian, sort of like a spirit guide or a twin spirit that's on the other side. Now, what we as Heka workers or we as magical workers can do is connect with this side of us and essentially make our stuff work. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about symbolism and deities. We're going to talk about ancient Egyptian totem animals. We're going to talk about ancient Egyptian shamanism, and that's actually another book that you needed that I forgot to put on the list. But yeah. And what else? What else? We're going to talk about runes. Most of the books that I gave you have something about runes in them. Most of the books I gave you have something about runes in them. And so I might add a couple more books to the reading list. I'm not sure. More Egyptian books instead of rune books, because I think I've given you enough books that have sections on runes and how to use runes. But in the rune class, we're going to be talking about how to write runes, how to write stuff with runes, and how to pronounce runes and what they mean in divination meanings. We're going to talk about how to interpret these runes into rituals and into spells, and we're going to talk about what else we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the sort of middle ground that I have found in between runes and ancient Egyptian divination. And what that is that I've found a way to what I've done is that I've taken ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs that mean something, and I've written down what they would mean to me if they came up in a reading. So, like, the symbol for water, what would this mean to me? Prosperity and emotions. And, you know, just symbols like that. And then I've taken runic symbols that I particularly like to use. Well, no. I've taken the runes and I've mixed those in with those, and I've thrown those, showing both the ancient Egyptian mixed with the runes, so giving me a more in-depth reading than what I would have gotten with just the runes or just ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. I find that to work very much, that to be much more successful than just the runes or just the hieroglyphs or just the cards. And I do mark some of my playing cards with symbols to help me read them a little bit faster. So, and I'll teach you sort of how to do this, because I'll put a website link in that you guys need, but what you need to be able to do is you need to be able to look at these runes and look at these hieroglyphs and understand what they mean right away. we'll talk a little bit about how to read hieroglyphs. I don't think that'll be too important unless I was actually teaching Egyptology class. But I can teach you some basic words, and I can teach you how to write some basic words in ancient Egyptian language. I can teach you how to do an offering ceremony in the ancient Egyptian language. It's very hard, but I think you'll catch on very fast. We'll talk a lot about different types of deities. We'll talk a lot about mythology, because one thing that's majorly stressed in ancient Egyptian magic is that if you're going to work with an ancient Egyptian deity, you have to be able to fit a myth into that spell. So let's say that, like, I was working with, like, I don't know, Zeus, and, like, it was going to be like, what was it going to be? What is Zeus got? Let's say I was working with Zeus, and I was like, and the spell was to not get caught by someone. Well, essentially what I'd have to do is turn that person into a cow, figuratively speaking, in the spell to not get caught. And so it's something like that. It's like in ancient Egyptian magic, if you're going to work with a deity, you have to be able to fit the spell. You have to be able to word the spell as if it were taking place in a myth. So we're going to talk about that. And I don't know if that really made sense to you guys, but it made sense to me. And I think that's just because I worked with it. We're going to talk about terms, Zep-Tepi. We're going to talk about the ancient Egyptian belief on the chakra system. The ancient Egyptians actually did have a belief on the chakra system. I believe that this would be sort of a really hard concept for you to grasp, because if you've ever learned anything about ancient Egyptians, they've never really actually been able to connect any of their magic. Like, no one else has really copied any of their magical styles, except for maybe Rome and Greece. And those are for reasons we obviously know. They were so close together. There's actually a cult of Isis that still exists in Rome. So, yeah. What else do I want to tell you guys? Oh, yes. This is my new book, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it with a spell for each day of the year. And so, I don't know if I'm going to do this on the forum, but the original plan was that each day of the year I would look up correspondences from my favorite book in the world, The Magician's Table by Alan Richardson, and I would post those on the forum, and that you guys could, like, make your own spells for that day too, and so that way we'd all just, and it'd be sort of a quick way for everyone to learn. So, I don't know if I'm still going to do that, but I do know that at the end of each week, I will be making a video that'll be maybe 30 minutes or less, about what I worked on specifically, about what I worked on magically, talking. I might just do a video at least once a day, a 10-minute video, just talking about that. So, so that was all I really wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think I covered everything I really wanted to say in this video. There wasn't too much that I meant to say, except bye.